Family abandoned me because sister falsely accused me of ruining her marriage by sleeping with her husband. But I wasn't even in the country during the time she claimed I was with her husband, so I provided family with that evidence, and now her life is getting destroyed because her husband is dragging her back to court with it. I, Kelly, 35 female. I'm the oldest child of my parents. My younger sister Penny, 29 female, has always been the family favorite, even when we were young. It wasn't hard to figure out why. Everyone always raved about how pretty Penny was, with her big blue eyes and blonde hair. Me, well, let's just say I took after Dad's side of the family. Kind of plain, a little awkward. I still remember when Penny absolutely had to have the super expensive prom dress. Mom and Dad bent over backward to make it happen. Me, I was lucky if I got a new outfit at all. Hand-me-downs were usually the name of the game. And it wasn't just dresses. Penny's birthday parties were always these huge affairs with themes and decorations, while my birthdays, well, they involved cake, and hey, sometimes even ice cream. That was about as fancy as I got. Chores were another sticking point. Guess who stuck with all the worst ones? Yup, yours truly. Dusting, cleaning the bathroom, all that fun stuff. Penny's chores were light and easy, like watering the plants. Sometimes, I swear, I think our parents made up chores for her just so it looked like she was helping out. When it came time for college, the favoritism was obvious. Penny got this amazing care package of dorm supplies and spending money. I got a pat on the back and a good luck with those student loans. Don't get me wrong, I was grateful for whatever help I could get, but it sure felt different. Penny also seemed to operate by a completely different set of rules. She could stay out late and come home whenever she wanted. Really, me, I had a strict curfew even when I was in high school. Wasn't fair, and they never really gave me a good reason for the difference. And if Penny messed up, no big deal. They always made excuses for her, like she's young or she didn't mean it. If I made the tiniest mistake, I was the worst kid in the world. You know how some parents are always bragging about their kids? My parents were Olympic-level braggers when it came to Penny. She made the honor roll. It was front page news. She got a summer job. She was basically a CEO in training. Me, my accomplishments were, that's nice dear. It extends to driving, to Christmas gifts, to everything. Look, I love my sister. I really do. And I try to not let the favoritism bother me too much. It's just, sometimes it was hard to shake the feeling that I'll always be the second best daughter, and the things that happened in the last few weeks have shown me that my fears came true. 2 years ago, I took my sister to my office Christmas party. She was in town and insisted on going, wanted to tag along and meet my coworkers. That's where she met Adam, 32 male. They instantly hit it off, talking and laughing all evening. It was a whirlwind from there. They exchanged numbers, and before I knew it, they were going on dates almost every night. Penny would come home gushing about how amazing Adam was, how he was different from any guy she dated before. I was happy for her, of course, but also a tiny bit apprehensive. Penny had a tendency to fall hard and fast, and I was a bit worried she might get hurt. Within 3 months of dating, they decided to move in together. It felt crazy fast to me. They barely had a chance to really get to know each other, but Penny was head over heels. She packed up her stuff and moved into Adam's apartment, all smiles and excitement. I tried to be supportive, but the little voice of worry at the back of my head wouldn't go away. Then came the biggest surprise of all. A few months later, they eloped. No fancy wedding, no big announcement, just a phone call from Penny, ecstatic, saying they'd gotten married at the courthouse. I was shocked, confused, and a whole mix of other emotions. Don't get me wrong, I wanted Penny to be happy, but the speed of it all was unsettling. However, soon after they got married, they started having troubles. Penny had some trust issues, stemming from bad experiences in past relationships, and Adam wasn't good at communicating, often withdrawing instead of talking things through. Penny would often call me, venting about their latest fights. It was awkward for me. I would see Adam at work, and he would sometimes unload his frustrations on me too. It felt like I was stuck in the middle, trying to support both of them, but with no good solution in sight. One of the biggest issues was Penny's jealousy. She would get upset if Adam even talked to a female coworker, accusing him of flirting when he was simply being friendly. Adam would get annoyed, insisting that she was being unreasonable, and then things would escalate into a full-blown argument. Another problem was Adam's habit of spending time with his friends and without including Penny. She felt left out and neglected. While he would argue that he needed his own space and time to unwind, Penny would call me crying, saying she felt like he didn't want to spend time with her, while Adam would complain to me that she was too clingy. Penny also struggled with Adam's lack of emotional openness. When she wanted to talk about serious things, he would shut down, saying he didn't like talking about his feelings. This left Penny feeling frustrated and unheard. She would call me in tears, feeling like they weren't truly connecting on a deeper level. On the flip side, Adam felt pressured by Penny's expectations. He wanted their relationship to be easy and fun, but her constant need for reassurance and her frequent emotional outbursts wore him down. He confided in me that he felt suffocated at times. There were also smaller everyday arguments, things like Adam not doing his share of the chores, Penny being messy and disorganized, or them simply disagreeing about what to watch on TV, could quickly escalate into a fight. It seemed like they just couldn't communicate without it turning into a confrontation. At times, their fights got so much worse that Penny would pack her bags and just come to my place to stay for the night. Honestly, it was getting exhausting for me as well. I couldn't handle the constant drama that was going on in their lives. There were times when she would show up on my doorstep in tears, clutching a hastily packed overnight bag, and I would just have to sigh and let her in. We would stay up late on the couch, her pouring out her frustrations, me trying to comfort her, while also feeling the weight of her unhappiness. Sometimes, the fights would happen over the phone, and Penny would call me late at night, sobbing. I'd lie in bed, trying to be a good sister and offer advice, but also felt the pang of resentment because my sleep was interrupted yet again by their relationship drama. It felt like I couldn't escape their problems. Even at work, I would be trying to focus, but both Adam and Penny would seek me out to vent their frustrations. It became emotionally draining, and I started to feel like I was their therapist rather than Penny's sister and Adam's coworker. Of course, I love Penny, and I wanted to support her, but the constant cycle of fights, Penny coming to crash at my place, and the emotional fallout was taking a toll. I had my own life and my own responsibilities, and it was difficult to balance it all with my sister's relationship whirlwind. However, things took a turn when I got a call from my mom last week, telling me to come home immediately. It sounded urgent, so I dropped everything and drove over. My parents live about an hour away, and the whole drive I was wrecking my brain, trying to figure out what could be so important. When I reached home, Penny was there, sitting on the couch with a red, tear-streaked face. When she saw me, she immediately started crying and yelling. "How could you do this to me?" she screamed. I was completely bewildered. "Penny, what are you talking about?" Her voice was shaking with anger. "Don't play dumb. You know what you did." "I swear I have no idea what you're talking about," I said, my voice rising in frustration. "You ruined my marriage," she spat out, "by sleeping with my husband." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My stomach dropped. "Penny, that's not true. Why would you even think that?" She glared at me, her eyes filled with hurt and betrayal. "Don't lie to me." My mind was racing. How could he say something so awful? I felt sick to my stomach, a mix of anger and confusion swirling inside me. Was my sister going crazy? Was Adam trying to manipulate the situation somehow? A million thoughts raced through my head. "Penny, stop it. Just calm down and tell me what happened," I pleaded, trying to keep my voice steady despite the rising panic in my chest. Her anger cut through the air. "I don't want to see your face. Just go," she screamed, fresh tears streaming down her face. At that point, my mom intervened. Her voice was strained with a mix of exhaustion and sadness. "Kelly, I think you should leave." "Leave? Mom, why did you even ask me to come if you weren't going to let me talk or even hear what happened?" I felt a surge of frustration mixed with hurt. My mom sighed heavily. "Kelly, this is between Penny and Adam. I'm sorry, but right now, I just need you to leave. You've done enough damage to your sister." Her words felt like a physical blow. "Damage? What do you mean? I haven't done anything," I protested, my voice cracking. "Please, Kelly, just go," my mom said, her tone final. I was hurt, abandoned, and completely bewildered. It felt like my own parents had turned against me, believing this outrageous accusation without even giving me a chance to defend myself. How could they choose Penny's side so blindly? Was this what it felt like to always be second best? Feeling crushed and defeated, I turned and left the house. The drive home was a blur of tears and confusion. How had everything gone so wrong? My whole world felt like it was crumbling around me. I went home and immediately called Adam. My hands were shaking as I dialed his number. He picked up, and his voice sounded strained and hesitant. "Kelly, I need to explain," he began, but I cut him off. "Adam, what is going on? How could you accuse me of something like that? And why would Penny even believe it?" My voice was a mix of anger and confusion. He sighed heavily. "It all happened because of the office party last Friday night," Adam explained. "I wasn't at the party. I was away on a business trip, handling our London office. Apparently, Adam had gotten way too drunk at the party, lost his phone, and couldn't even walk straight. One of our male colleagues, Mark, decided to help him out and took him to his house for the night. Penny had no idea where Adam was. It was around 3 or 4 a.m. in London when all this was happening, and I was fast asleep. Apparently, Penny called me multiple times in a frenzy, but I didn't hear a thing. I called her back the next morning, but she didn't pick up and didn't respond to any of my texts. So when I finally got home the next morning," Adam continued, "Penny was furious. She immediately started yelling at me, accusing me of cheating on her. With my phone missing, I couldn't even prove where I'd been. Since you weren't picking up the phone either, she somehow jumped to the conclusion that you and I were together." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was so absurd, so outlandish. Penny kept yelling at me, demanding I would tell the truth. In her mind, I guess it made a twisted sense. Her husband disappears all night, and her sister isn't answering the phone. Adam trailed off. I tried calling my mom to tell her the truth, but she wasn't picking up. I was beyond frustrated. I had proof. Ironclad proof that I was in London. My phone had location data. I had flight tickets, photos geotagged overseas, and a whole trail of work emails about my trip. I needed to show my mom, needed to clear my name. The next day I skipped work and drove straight to my parents' house. Penny was still there, and when she saw me enter, she started crying again, a fresh wave of anger washing over her face. I ignored her, going straight to my mom. "Mom, you have to listen to me right now," I said, my voice trembling with a mix of urgency and hurt. I shoved my phone at her, pulling up flight tickets, photos of me in London, and the endless email threads about my work trip. "I wasn't even in the country when Penny thinks this happened. Look." Mom looked at the phone, then at me. "But Penny, she said you and Adam. She said she saw you together with her own eyes." I felt my jaw drop. "Saw us? Mom, that's impossible. Penny clearly lied. I think she's delusional." My mom turned towards Penny. "Penny, how could you? Your sister wasn't even here, and you accused her of this horrible thing." Penny still wouldn't back down. Her voice was shaky, laced with stubbornness. "But I saw them, Mom. I know what I saw. She must have faked all that stuff." I yelled at her. "You are lying. You didn't see anyone or anything. Adam didn't come home, and just because I didn't pick up your call, you just assumed that we were together." My mom, usually so patient, couldn't contain her frustration anymore. "Penelope, enough. You need to go back home and apologize to Adam. This has gone too far." She didn't just tell Penny to leave. She said she needed to leave by tomorrow morning. There was a firmness in her voice that I hadn't heard before when it came to my sister. Then, my mom turned to me, and her expression softened. "Kelly, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have jumped to conclusions. I shouldn't have been so harsh." I felt a pang of relief, but also a lingering sadness. Even with the truth laid bare, there was still a sense of distance between us. "It's okay, Mom," I said quietly. It wasn't entirely okay, but what else could I say? I didn't say much more, just made my excuses and left. A few days passed, and my life was slowly starting to return to some semblance of normalcy when my phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number, but dread settled in my stomach as I answered. "Hello? Is this Kelly?" The voice on the other line was strained, hesitant. "Yes, speaking." It was Penny. My heart sank, but her next words sent a cold shiver down my spine. "Kelly, I need your help. I'm in jail." Jail, my mind raced. Even though I was furious with her, I couldn't just leave her there. With a sigh, I got the address and headed to the police station. Bailing her out was a confusing blur of paperwork and a hefty fee. When she finally walked out, her face pale and eyes downcast, I couldn't contain my anger anymore. "What in the world happened, Penny?" I demanded. As soon as we were in the car, that's when the whole story came out. Apparently, Penny set fire to Adam's car. Yes, she actually set his car ablaze. A wave of shock and disbelief washed over me. "Penny, what were you thinking?" I yelled, my voice a mix of anger and fear for her, her eyes filled with tears. "Adam cheated on me, Kelly. I know he did. If it wasn't with you, it was with someone else. He deserved it." "Penny, you're acting crazy." I couldn't hold it back anymore. "You need to get your life together. Get some serious help. This isn't just about Adam. This is about you and how you're spiraling." But Penny wasn't listening. She just muttered something about needing to go and left, leaving me standing there, a mix of frustration and worry washing over me. I came back home, my mind reeling. I didn't know exactly what happened between Penny and Adam after that incident. Word filtered back to me through gossip at work, and the occasional concerned call from my mom. Things hadn't worked out well. That much was clear. Adam was now suing Penny for damages for, as he put it, her unhinged act of vandalism, another legal mess for her to deal with. Part of me wanted to reach out, to try and offer some kind of support to my sister, but another part held back, unsure how to even begin. It felt like Penny was on a self-destructive path, spiraling further and further out of control. Did I want to get caught up in that mess? Did I even know how to help her? But what I actually wanted to ask you guys is that would I be the a-hole if I didn't actually help her? So it's been a few days since the last update. Things continue to spiral downward for Penny. Adam's lawsuit is still moving forward, and he's moved out of the house they shared. I don't blame him one bit. After what she said, I can't imagine there's any trust left between them. Yesterday, my phone rang, and it was Penny. She was in tears, saying that she had finally spoken to Adam. Apparently, he told her he's filed for divorce, and the papers will be arriving soon. Penny showed up at my house a couple of hours later, a complete wreck. Between the sobs, she kept saying, "Kelly, I think Adam wasn't lying. I think I really overreacted. But he's leaving me over one mistake. Why is he being so harsh?" I took a deep breath. Penny, it wasn't just one mistake. Burning someone's car isn't a small thing. It was a big mistake, a crime. She looked at me with pleading eyes. "But I love him so much, Kelly. I can't lose him." A wave of sadness washed over me. Even with all the chaos she'd caused, I couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy for her pain. But I also knew I had to be firm. "Penny, you need to understand the consequences of your actions. Adam's hurt. You destroyed his trust. It might be too late to fix things." And he still seems incapable of truly understanding the extent of her actions. She's playing the victim, lamenting that her life is being destroyed without acknowledging that she's the one who lit the match. It's a weird, frustrating thing to see your own sister in that kind of denial. Adam works in my office, so I see him almost every day. It's awkward to say the least, knowing that he's entangled in all this legal mess because of Penny. I felt compelled to talk to him, for her sake. I even asked him if there was any way to get this whole thing taken care of the record, to drop the lawsuit. He looked at me with a mixture of sadness and exasperation. "Kelly, what would you do if you were in my place? Would you just forgive someone who burned your car? Who accused you of cheating? Who's shown this level of instability?" I couldn't answer. Of course, if I were in Adam's shoes, I would want justice too. It was a wake-up call, realizing that I was asking him to be the bigger person after everything Penny had done. Despite everything, I knew I couldn't completely turn my back on Penny. I helped her find a lawyer, someone to navigate this legal mess she created. But that's the extent of it. I can't protect her from the consequences of her actions anymore, and honestly, I'm not sure I want to. Other than that, I'm at a loss. I don't know what's going to happen with her and Adam. I don't know if she'll truly learn from this experience or if she'll continue to spiral, blaming everyone but herself. My mom calls me with updates, and they're never good. Penny's isolated herself, lashing out at anyone who suggests that she needs help beyond just a lawyer. Maybe the best thing I can do, the hardest thing, is to let her face the consequences and hope that hitting rock bottom will be what finally pushes her to seek real change. Oh my god guys, it's been 2 weeks since my last update, and I have a whole new wave of shocking information. Sat down with my mom the other day, and the things she told me about Penny and Adam's relationship, let's just say it made my head spin. Apparently, Penny's anger wasn't just verbal. I always knew she had a temper, but I didn't know the extent of it. My mom told me that Penny would get physical violent towards Adam whenever she got jealous or suspicious. My mom described how, if Adam made a comment about a new female coworker, saying something simple like she seemed nice, Penny would fly into a rage, slap him across the face, and lock herself in the bathroom for hours. Adam was on a business call that went longer than expected one time, and upon his return, Penny was furious. She started yelling and then started throwing things at him, even shattering a vase. One particularly chilling incident my mom told me about involved Penny finding an unfamiliar hair on Adam's jacket. She wouldn't let it go, accusing him of having an affair, and when he tried to calm her down, she shoved him hard enough that he fell and hit his head on the coffee table. Adam apparently often had to cover up bruises or scratches, making excuses to his coworkers and friends about being clumsy or getting into some minor accident. It seems like the final straw, what led to the car burning incident, was Adam simply saying he needed some space and going to stay with a friend for a few nights. That's when Penny completely lost it. I was stunned. Penny never mentioned anything like this to me when she'd rant about her fights with Adam. She'd always paint herself as the victim, the one who was wronged. I felt a surge of anger mixed with a deep sense of betrayal. How could my own sister hide something so serious from me? I wanted to reach out to Adam, to apologize for doubting him and for believing Penny's lies. But what would I even say? Sorry my sister is abusive and crazy? It felt humiliating, even though it wasn't my fault. I was also scared. Penny was volatile, and the thought of her finding out that I knew the truth made me uneasy. Would she turn her anger on me next? I'd always try to stay neutral, to be the supportive sister, but now I realized neutrality just wasn't an option anymore. My head was spinning. Growing up, Penny was always the star, the one our parents doted on. I learned to live in her shadow, accepting that I'd always be second best. But this was a whole new level, a darkness I never imagined my sister capable of. Well, I finally have some updates about Penny and Adam. The last update I gave you guys was about a month ago, and a lot has happened since then. Penny and Adam managed to settle their case out of court. Penny agreed to pay for a new car to replace the one she destroyed, which I guess is the least that she could do. Adam also got a restraining order against her, which feels like a necessary step given how unstable she's been. Their divorce is moving forward too, set to be finalized in the next few weeks. I haven't spoken to Penny directly in a while. My mom keeps me updated, and it sounds like Penny is still not doing well. She's angry and bitter, blaming Adam for everything, and refusing to acknowledge her own role in how things spiraled out of control. She's convinced she can win him back, that he just needs time to cool off. It's delusional, but also kind of heartbreaking. She has tried reaching out a few times, sending a text here and there, just saying something simple like, "I'm thinking of you." I never respond. I know she probably hates me right now for knowing the truth about her behavior toward Adam and not forgiving her. I just don't know if I can get over what she has done and the kind of person she is. I still see Adam at work. We occasionally exchange awkward smiles in the hallway or the break room, but we don't really talk. Honestly, what is there to even say? It feels weird and uncomfortable, a constant reminder of the huge chaotic mess that's been intertwined with both of our lives. I desperately want to tell Adam I'm sorry, to express how ashamed I am of my sister's behavior and how much I wish it had never happened. But a part of me also holds back. Does he even want to hear from me? Is there anything I can say that can erase the damage that has been done? Sometimes, it feels safer to just keep our interactions to basic polite distance. The other day, Adam stopped by my desk. He looked hesitant, like he was debating whether to say something. My heart started pounding a little faster. Finally, he spoke. "Kelly, just so you know, I don't blame you for any of it." I was stunned. A wave of relief washed over me. "Adam, I started wanting to apologize again. To tell him I understood why keeping his distance was probably the best thing. He just smiled and walked away. I guess he had noticed that I was acting a bit weird and wanted to put me at ease. Hi everyone, this is going to be my last update on this whole saga, as Penny and Adam's divorce is now finally over. It's a bittersweet ending, to be honest. Adam put in his notice at work a week ago. We were all heartbroken to see him go, but I think everyone understood. In a private conversation, he told me he needed a fresh start, a chance to put all of this behind him. I completely understand and support his decision. He's managed to land a job near his hometown and will be moving there soon. I wish him nothing but the best and truly hope he finds someone who treats him with the love and respect he deserves. Honestly, a part of me feels relieved that he's leaving. It's selfish, I know, but seeing him at work was a constant reminder of Penny's destructive behavior, and it weighed on my mind every single day. Maybe now, with Adam gone, there can be some distance and some space to start the healing process for everyone involved. Penny is still being Penny. For some reason, she's decided to give me the cold shoulder now. I guess she's still mad at me because I didn't immediately jump to her defense when the truth about her behavior toward Adam came out. Maybe she thinks I should have blindly supported her no matter what. Honestly, it's exhausting and it hurts. Family gatherings these days are a bit awkward. Penny avoids eye contact with me, and the tension hangs in the air like a heavy fog. My parents tiptoe around her, desperate not to upset her further, while I try to pretend like everything's normal. It's not normal though, and it's hard to know how much longer I can keep up the facade. My mom told me that the day Penny signed the divorce papers, she came straight to my parents' house and basically bawled her eyes out. I have to admit, even with all her craziness and hurtful actions, a tiny part of me did feel sorry for her. Love can make you do stupid things, and it's clear that Penny loved Adam, even if that love was twisted and unhealthy. Losing him, and in such a humiliating way, has to be devastating. She's facing some harsh consequences right now, and as much as she tries to deflect blame, I think a part of her knows deep down that this is on her. The other day, my mom pulled me aside after dinner. "Kelly, sweetie, can you just maybe try to apologize to your sister?" she asked. I sighed. "Mom, apologize for what? For not condoning her abusive behavior? For knowing the truth and supporting Adam?" My mom looked away, her expression a mix of frustration and sadness. "I know she did wrong things," she said quietly, "but she's hurting, Kelly. She's your sister." And there it was again, that familiar feeling, the reminder that, no matter what Penny does, her pain will always be seen as more important than mine. I'm expected to swallow my own hurt and be the bigger person, all because I'm the sensible one, the less dramatic daughter. Anyway, this family drama is going to continue for a long time. I want to thank all of you for your kind comments and suggestions. And that was a wrap up for today's story. Thank you very much for listening. Smash the like button for me and subscribe for more stories. Thanks again, and we'll be seeing you in the next one.